Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Black Crypto. You know, the price of Bitcoin right now is between $11,000 and $12,000, but we've seen it as high as $20,000. We don't know if the price of Bitcoin is going to go all the way up to $100,000 or even $1,000,000 one day. But, you know, there might be a few events that might make the price of Bitcoin go up in 2020. And I think I know what they are. If you want to know, stick around. All right, now before I get started, make sure you go ahead and you hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you'll be notified anytime I release any videos. Guys, that helps me out a whole lot here on this channel. I really appreciate it. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Black Crypto. Thank you for checking out another cryptocurrency video. So let me tell you exactly what I think might be 3 key events that might make the price of Bitcoin skyrocket in 2020. I think these events are a little bit underneath the radar, but I think if everybody knew what they are, they can see how it closely relates to Bitcoin or how the attention on Bitcoin might be very high come around these events. By now, we know that Bitcoin is really tied to a lot of speculation. So that means that the price of Bitcoin can go up and can go down, really depending on the news that's really out there or depending on what happens. If we have some bad news, we can kind of expect the price of Bitcoin to go down a little bit. If there's some really good news in the industry, then the price of Bitcoin might go up. But I think there's 3 key events that might be happening in 2020 that people I might not be on, but that might be a big key indicator of the price of Bitcoin maybe shooting up to the moon. I don't know, maybe the price might go up to $25,000. It might go up to $50,000. It may go up to $100,000. But I think these 3 events are something that we need to pay close attention to because you know what? Bitcoin is here to stay. And this is probably the reason why. So the first reason I think that Bitcoin price is going to skyrocket in 2020 is because of the presidential elections. Yeah, in 2020, we're going to have the presidential elections in the United States, and that's going to be a lot of people watching what's happening in terms of the president for the United States. Now, in July, the President Trump, he did make a comment about Bitcoin in terms of talking about he's not a fan of it. Now, when he was talking about he's not a fan of Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin didn't shoot all the way down as many people may have expected. But you know what it did? It started to put a little bit of a spotlight, meaning that, hey, Bitcoin at least is on his mind. Now, what is that going to mean for the future of Bitcoin? Well, you know, you have different presidential candidates right now that's accepting cryptocurrency as donations. For instance, Mr. Swalwell, or Mr. Yang in terms of the Democratic candidates. Now they're accepting cryptocurrencies, and what's going to happen as more come on board, or more governments start accepting cryptocurrencies? That only means that this probably is going to be a topic that's going to be discussed when it comes to the presidential elections in 2020, with everybody's mind and everybody's tuned in terms of the presidential elections. We can only think that, you know what, the price of Bitcoin is going to shoot as more interest and more eyeballs are on this event. So I think that the presidential election is going to be one of those things that's going to make the Bitcoin price skyrocket in the moon. Let's see what happens. So come 2020, we have the presidential elections, and we know that the president has already talked about Bitcoin in some kind of way. Will he continue to talk about it? We know he also made a comment about Facebook, talking about, if Facebook's going to come out with their own cryptocurrency, then Facebook needs to be regulated like a bank. Well, we're going to see that a lot with different companies, not only with Facebook. We have other companies in terms of banks also coming out with their own coins. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that in the future. But I know for a fact that because of the whole world is going to be watching the presidential elections, Mr. Trump has an opportunity to really improve on how things are looked in terms of this whole space. Will he do that? We don't know. Would it be one of the other Democratic candidates that's going to be doing that in terms of the topic? And will the price of Bitcoin follow? We'll have to wait till 2020 to see. Now, the second reason is because of a little bit more technical, right? The second one is because of the Bitcoin halving that's going to be happening in 2020. If you're a Bitcoin miner, you'll know exactly what this means. When it comes to Bitcoin halving, when we talk about Bitcoin in terms of how is Bitcoin even made, right? It's all digital. So how is it even made? We think about it in terms of like gold, for instance, where you can dig up gold out of the ground and then you go sell it on the market, and that's now how it's in the market. When it comes to Bitcoin, it's all digital, so we have to mine it. What it means is miners or an individual like for me, for instance, When those transactions come through my miners, I get rewarded with a little piece of Bitcoin that says, thank you for loaning my CPU power or my computer to process those transactions. Right now, we have it at a steadily pace in terms of when those Bitcoins are released. And in terms of the amount of Bitcoin right now is 12.5. And in terms of 2020, we're going to have a halving where that Bitcoin reward is going to be cut in half to about 6.25. That means that there's going to be less Bitcoin being released out there in the ecosystem. More people are going to be fighting for Bitcoin because there's a limited supply of only 21 million. Right now, we have close to 18 million in circulation. So once this Bitcoin reward starts to be cut in half and more people start to fight for it, the idea is that the price is going to go and shoot up because really Bitcoin is based off of supply and demand. So with that, because of this event, we have our eyes on this event right now. It's right underneath 300 days right now in terms of when this is going to happen. So we're watching this to see what's going to happen and see if the price of the Bitcoin is going to shoot up near that time, or has the price of Bitcoin right now already reached this peak and it's only going to go down because of that event. I think that the price may go up because, like I said, it is a supply and demand type of world right now when it comes to Bitcoin. So the price may go up in 2020 because of this second event. And I think that this is one of those key reasons why it may happen. And a lot of people are unaware of this. Now, the third reason I'm very excited for, because hopefully I would like to be there in 2020. And the third reason is because of the 2020 Olympics that's going to be hosted in Tokyo, Japan. Now, what does Bitcoin have to do with the Olympics? Well, if you remember the last Olympics at the ending ceremony, Japan came out with a whole lot of robotics and did a whole lot of light shows, and it was very good and it's very exciting. So that's just to give you an idea that it's going to be probably technology focused when it comes to the Olympics in 2020. When we think about Japan, we know that Japan has always been technology driven when it comes to making technology and always make technology forward when it comes to products. So it's very exciting to see what's going to happen with Japan when you have a lot of tourists coming into the country. How will they use cryptocurrencies right there physically in the country? We know Tokyo has a lot of vending machines. We know that they have a lot of vending machines that you can use with cryptocurrency. So it's going to be very exciting to see that not only you have a lot of eyes watching the Olympics, but you have a lot of people from all over the world physically there in a country that might be able to use cryptocurrency right then and there. So the price of Bitcoin can very much shoot in price when it comes to 2020 because of that. Japan has a very important role when it comes to hosting tourists in their country, and this is an opportunity for Bitcoin to be on the forefront. Let's see what happens with Japan, but I think that this is a very good key indicator that the Bitcoin price will go up because there's a lot of positive news that's happening in 2020. There's a lot of attention that's happening in terms of eyeballs or world attention on one event. So there you have it. Those are my three reasons why I think the price of Bitcoin is going to skyrocket in 2020. You have the presidential election, you have the Bitcoin halving, and then you have the Olympics. These three events are going to have a lot of eyeballs. Probably not the Bitcoin happening in terms of world eyes attention to, but definitely the presidential election and the Olympics. These are big events where you're going to have events that are governments or world events that you're going to have everybody in the world paying attention to it and having opportunity to interact with it. You have the presidential candidates that are accepting donations. You have everybody wondering what's going to happen with the regulations of cryptocurrencies. Then you have the Olympics where you have a country that is very technology driven, and you have a lot of people that will be there in the physical country to start using cryptocurrencies and being able to take that back to their countries, to take that experience to share. So this is a great opportunity for the price of Bitcoin to go up, and not only the price of Bitcoin, but also an opportunity for the world to understand or the world to hear about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So these are three events that I think is going to happen. And guys, you let me know right down in the comments. You let me know what you think. Do you think that these three events might be events that might be enough for the price of Bitcoin to go to $100,000 to maybe $200,000 or maybe even $1 million? We don't know if it's going to happen in 2020. We just have to wait to see and just have to watch. Guys, thank you for checking out my video. Make sure you go over to my Instagram and my Twitter, which is BLK Crypto. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.